I've been playing around with this new business OS that runs all out of Airtable. And yeah, so like, the ops people go ahead and come at me in the comments, but I went deep in Asana. I went deep in ClickUp. I've been like medium deep into Notion. And I know there's a lot of tools out there, but this is really slick. I just want to show you one piece of it. Something I set up over the weekend and took me about 30 minutes. And I think it's going to save me about 30 minutes every week now, just in perpetuity. So what's happening here is there is this automation. And like I said, I've been troubleshooting. It took me like multiple points to finally resolve it. I don't know. I don't even know how I ended up resolving it. But now this thing works properly, and it will send a task to my EA, my executive assistant, once a week. And it includes the instructions to a training video and then step-by-step things to do over the course of about 30 minutes each week to set up my calendar and set me up for success. So it's two parts. One is to review my upcoming week's calendar. So she's going to do this either at the end of a work week or at the beginning of her work week, and she's time zones ahead of me. So she does it in her morning, then I'm ready to review to make sure my week is ready, and then just to look ahead and be like everything's all good, or to provide any feedback. Because this is just the first iteration. We just set this up. She just did her first iteration. I'm going to show you what she did and what it looked like before in just a second here. And so just to set up and make sure that there's time for me and my personal goals and practices that I want to do. And then work obligations for the various things that I'm currently pushing forward with partners or with my own initiatives. So this gets sent, and then it gets a task created for her. She comes in, reviews the key part of the training that she needs to review, just to make sure that she's totally clear on the steps. This is what my calendar looked like for the next week. So I had set up my calendar for this week over the weekend. I normally will have things kind of fill up my calendar, various appointments and meetings and stuff. And then I would fill in my priorities around it, and then all the work stuff, my priorities for each business would kind of come in and fill in. So I shot a training video showing her my thought process, how I did timings, what I wanted to make sure it got in there. And then I had her do my next week. And then every week from then on out, she will always be a week ahead. At some point, we might even go 2 weeks out, depending on like what business and my responsibilities evolve to look like, or changes in my personal life. So just a couple of meetings and appointments this week, nothing too crazy. And so she came in, followed my lead, and got it 90% of the way there. There's just like a few things with automations, like I'm using an AI scheduling tool, which I think I'm going to delete because it's a little bit of a hassle, and just do it all manually, but through my EA. And then I use multiple calendars because I'm on multiple, like pretty deeply integrated in a couple teams. I'm assuming you probably only have one email. So we'll remove the complexity of these double boxes. It's just because I have a segment of my personal from my main work and then my like main partner. So it could be a little bit easier on the eyes. It could be a little overwhelming to see all these personal commitments. I wish that I had just like a clean example to show you, because then it could be like, oh, that actually maybe makes sense. So hopefully that is a clear path, at least enough for you to see, oh, whatever tool I'm using, there's a simple way to set up a recurring task. Show them exactly how I want my calendar to be. If you want to go even a little bit deeper, you can, ping me, leave a comment. I'll probably put something in the description for how to contact me or where to go to get a resource on building your ideal week and being able to like set it out and be able to have like rules and contingencies, because not every week's going to be the same, right? Like I'm moving on this Sunday, so I'm packing. I've got time to pack like an hour every day, basically. We've already done a lot of it, but final stretch stuff, get ready. So it's not a normal week. But she knew what I was going to be kind of going into, so she set things properly. Expectations always need to be like set, maybe reset, all that, like feedback and honing and loops and cycles of feedback and improvement, obviously, like with anything. But I thought this was interesting. I thought that was just a couple minutes that might be able to help you take a handful of minutes, save yourself 30, maybe 20 minutes, however long it takes you to set up your calendar each week by handing it off to an EA, and then just being the kind of like supervisor, overviewer, approver, and feedback giver, as opposed to like having to build it yourself manually, especially if a lot of it's repetitive.